alaikum, dear students. Let's start our lesson from the same point from where we have ended our last lecture, that the language is not only literal in its sense, it has a pragmatic concern as well. So idioms are the expressions that are used in almost all the languages in the world, which have their other meanings rather than their literal aspect in the language. So if idioms are the pragmatic aspects, definitely there are some meanings which are attached to them connotatively. So it means the context would be there to reflect for what reason they are being used or for which reason they are meant differently from the language. So every culture has idioms. It does mean every idiom has some cultural story to be developed out of it. So what is idiom and what it is? What does it expresses to the audience when it is being used by some speaker or a writer? Idioms are the phrases or expressions with meanings that differ from the literal meanings of their individual words. Examples could be kick the bucket, that means to die; break a leg, you would never expect, the meaning is good luck; bite off more than you can chew, means to take on more responsibility than you can handle. So bite off more than you can chew. So it does mean just oppositively that this one phrase says. The non-literal meanings are always there, which are attached to the idioms in our language. The reasons of using or the problems of their understanding. First, let's discuss their problems, that why these are unimaginably different for their literal aspect. The one reason is for being non-literal in their meaning. Definitely they do not stand for the denotative aspect, or they do not have the denotative aspect in their meaning. That's why they are difficult to interpret or understand. The cultural context in which it is built, or those combination of words have been added as a phrase contextually, this is different. As I said, every culture has its specific cultural idioms, which has some different or definite stories inside them, why they have been built. The third is the ambiguity or the unclarity of the language that is created in the combination of the words in the idioms. The translation challenges, for sure. Translation is always difficult for the reason that idiomatic expression would mean differently, and in the actual language it has some other meanings. The pragmatic aspects in language is always different in describing and explaining the idioms than that of the others. So idioms are always the ambiguous factor to sketch the author's intent. Other than that the person's language is not only connotation in its sense, in its own connotation in its sense, but also you may only interpret that the person is a scholarly one. So this is also a sign. Using your idiomatic phrases in the language is also develops a behavior or an attitude of a scholarly person among you. So if it is so, what is the reason that the writers or the authors are doing it? I just said one point of ambiguity before describing that what is the problem. So to create ambiguity in readers' mind who are not able to understand or sketch the meaning of that word, definitely that develops the problematic aspect for the reader's interpretation. If it is so, definitely then the readers create implicatures. Implicature is also your pragmatic aspect. I guess you all know now. Implicature is what? It's all about the hidden meaning of something. Although idioms are not for the developing implicatures, they are definitely hard to understand. How can you develop the correct presupposition or implicature developing out of it? Implicature is a meaning that is implied but not directly stated. So if the author's intent is not to intentionally say what actually he wants to say, he would use the idiom or idiomatic expression. The example can be, can you pass the salt? It implies in implied form a request, not just a question, but about an ability could be of a person to pass it or not. And the inference could be drawing a conclusion based on the context and shared knowledge. So the word itself, implicature, is the combination of what you know and what you expect from the author's intent or author's attention. The speech acts actions promoting or performed through language such as promising, requesting, or apologizing. These are all the thoughts that are lying as an implicator or implied idea in our speeches. Over here, this is one of the mod that I'm going to end, that what the words mean and what are the expectations of the words, denotation or connotative aspect of the meaning. As implicator is also depending on the connotative aspect, why someone has said it and for which reason it implies that. We have another aspect in pragmatics that is known as hedges. What is hedges? What are hedges might be? So hedges are the words or the phrases used to soften or mitigate the impact of an utterance, making it less direct or assertive. So it means when we are using the words like I think, I believe it, it seems like, kind of, sort of, he's sort of a lazy, like that, all the connected phrases you are using in your speech to take a pause as well as to connect your idea to show that what kind of person you are, that brings the softness in your behavior as well as in your speech. Like, say for example, when I say, no, it's a good idea, I would say, I think it's a good idea. So less direct, then it's a good idea. So the functions of hedges are definitely to create politeness. That means hedges can make requests or criticisms more polite and less face threatening. It makes your speech to assert what actually you want to say, but it implies also that you may mean some other thing as well. Example could also be like, could you sort of help me this, or could you help me out? A sort of this kind is softer than help me with this. Mitigating face, another reason. That is, in our threatening acts, hedges can reduce the impact of potentially offensive statement of our words to be used. For example, when I would like to say he's a kind of incompetent, I would never say this. He is a kind of incompetent is less direct than when I say he's incompetent. Fine? This is impossible rather than I would say this could have been possible. This could have been possible. So these are the words that we may use like a hedges in our speeches. I believe I could do that. That made it possible. Could also be another form of a use of hedges in our speech. Another reason of using hedges is expressing uncertainty. Hedges can convey uncertainty or lack of confidence. For example, I think it's going to rain implies less certainty than it's going to rain. Like when I say I think it's going to rain, it implies it's going to rain. So definitely when you use any kind of hedges, it creates uncertainty as well in our speech. Facilitating the conversation. Do you believe when we are using these all connected phrases or conversational phrases, we are actually facilitating our conversation with the other person. So hedges can make speech more cooperative and less confidential or confrontational. That sort of listening or that makes someone else to make it more interesting. That is a way to show engagement without strong commitment. Examples in our literature and everyday speech could accompany many of, or may have many examples of such kind of things, like literary examples in Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. The characters use hedges to navigate social interactions and express politeness. One example I have chosen out of them, I think very highly of him, but I suppose he's not very interesting. That softens the criticism while maintaining the social decorum in between the two characters. The everyday speech could have the hedges as well. I just have given many examples of your everyday speech. I'm a kind of tired, so maybe we should stay home. So I'm a kind of tired. It's not exactly you're saying you're tired. We should stay home maybe. So it does mean we should stay home. So using all these extra words or the phrases in as a part of our hedges, we won't say these words. These are words. These are the hedges in our speech that we take for our communication and to make our conversation more facilitative for the listener. Hedging is a suggestion to avoid directness. So, to be direct avoids and actually contributes in the hedging to be created. What is its importance in stylistics? Understanding implied meaning is the first reason. Yes, we are understanding the context, we are understanding the directness of the speech of the author, that's why, or the speaker as well. Recognizing idioms definitely makes it possible for us to understand what actually we want to say, or what actually wants to imply in our speech. Another one is recognizing idioms and pragmatic aspects helps readers interpret text more accurately. Analyzing character speech, hedges, and idiomatic expressions reveal character traits, relationships, and social dynamics. Enhancing our communication is another reason that why we should have to use all these pragmatic aspects in our speech, that awareness of these aspects can improve both written and spoken communication by making language more appropriate and more legible for the reader or for the listener. So the pragmatics plays an important role because we always use the language which is important for us for the specific context. So our lecture is just divided in between not only the written text or written discourse, but also to explore some of the features of our conversational discourse as well. We'll talk about it more in detail in our upcoming lectures. Till that time, stay tuned. Have a nice day.